Hello everyone and welcome to Volume 3 of Listitis. Surprised ya, huh? Well, with that theme I found it would be fitting to launch the third volume with a topical list. These are 10 of the most shocking moments I've ever had in video games. My only rule for this countdown, other than the usual one per franchise, is I cannot include any entries from my other 3 trigger episodes. If you haven't watched those episodes, you can watch them here. Let's count down 10 incredibly shocking moments in video games.
Number 10.
We all know my opinion on Fallout 4 as a whole product, but regardless of the boredom-drenched hours I got out of it, the game was filled with some memorable moments that Fallout is famous for. None, though, shine brighter than the Brotherhood of Steel's big entrance. Yes, you can encounter them before this, but I mean, come on. This was built as the "we're here, bitches" moment from the start. Coming out of the rooftop door and witnessing a monumental Zeppelin flying over the Commonwealth is hands down the greatest moment in the game and a true shock that I walked away with.
Number 9.
This one goes back a ways, and I mean way back. Not that far back. Whew. Anyway, Pokemon wasn't always the worldwide phenomenon that it is today. In fact, back when I started playing the games, they were just that, new games and nothing too special. At least in America. But in the second generation, the explosion to the series took people to new heights as they just realized how mechanically great the games really were. But the second generation included something that many didn't learn about for a while. Shinies. Shiny Pokemon are incredibly rare to stumble across naturally and were considered by many as good luck charms. My first shiny was back in 2000 in Pokemon Gold, where I ran into a shiny Spinarak. I thought it was a glitch at first, and then told my mom my game was broken, but I caught that damn rascal anyway, and I named him 8-Ball because, well, I'm creative and stuff.
Number 8.
So there you are, exploring the depths of hell in Terraria, hounding after the loot you deserve, the loot you need. Tower after obsidian tower you swing, climb, and jump past. And then you see it in the distance. Strange, peculiar creature. A gargoyle? A lich? No. It's a demon. A creature so odd that it's carrying around a loose, hanging doll in its satanic clutches. So what does any good adventurer do? You slay the damn beast. Down with a mighty blow the beast and Dow fall doomed towards the hellfire below. Only once the Dow breaches the surface of the cavernous and luminescent deep, a chill stirs amongst the depths, and then a roar. Quick! Make haste to the far edge! A fellow adventurer calls out as his innumerable hating mess of this titanuous, lethargic, fleshy mass accelerates towards you. The feeling is chaotic and sorrowful. Will you live? Most certainly not. And that, my friends, is why the first Wall of Flesh encounter is on here.
Number 7.
I'm so scared. Help me.
A much more solemn and saddening entry on the list comes in the form of Lisa Garland from Silent Hill. Her presence always filled Harry with comfort and serenity, but before long, something starts to take effect within her. A darkness, a crippling darkness that she fought with her last breath. Many gamers remember this scene, not fondly, but strikingly, because the shock comes from the split-second change from peaceful smile to disturbed grimace. Her transformation and last several actions come together to create a moment that lives on in everyone's minds. I chose a moment from Silent Hill 1 because I give the second game enough love.
Number 6.
Limbo was one of the best games of its year, and even won Indie Game of the Year in 2011, but there is much more hidden in the silent story of the Limbo Kid. There are many theories as to where, when, and in what form the story takes place, but my take on it is easily believed due to the most shocking moment in the game, which is the end. You rush through a field of traps and danger only to come catapulting through a seemingly random glass wall, where you wake to see a small female and a grave. She gets frightened and flees from you. This leads me to believe that the game is an infinite retelling of Limbo Kid's death. The cause careless driving by his older sister. She was guilty for him dying and refuses to come to terms with his ghost.
Number 5.
The nuke. Need I say more? Everyone knows. Even people who dislike Call of Duty know. When the franchise went away from the wars of the past and moved into the modern day, we knew that we had to do something special. And it happened. I'm not a shooter person, but the first Modern Warfare was a fantastic game that shocked throughout with torture, murder, and other immoral behaviors. But nothing shocked more people than the game's finale, which saw you escaping the war zone in a helicopter, when out of seemingly nowhere, a nuke goes off. This event gets explained in further detail later in the series, but this moment alone has more substance than a chemistry class. Crawling through the wreckage feebly, with no hope of surviving, takes its toll on the player.
Number 4.
Okay, here's a predictable one. Who here loves Red Dead Redemption? Who here cannot wait for the sequel's announcement at E3 this year? And who here hopes that they don't end Act 2 of the sequel like they did this game? I fought with myself putting this on here because I was trying to decide whether it belonged under more shocking or more powerful. In the end, it's hard to turn away from the possibly one of the worst character deaths in video games. The reason? Because many character deaths are unfortunate, but are often foreshadowed or plotted. But John Marston, the lead role of Red Dead Redemption, was killed in an incredible fashion. Something you would only see in a true Western setting. Huh? Fitting.
Number 3.
Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. You know things are getting real when someone brings up Mass Effect 2's suicide mission. I mean, you spent literally the entire game planning for it, even when you didn't know it. The characters were all set up as pawns, glorious freaking pawns at that, for this moment of the game. Will your team make it out in one piece? Well, I'll tell you how my first playthrough ended. 2 people died due to silly mistakes, and it tore my ass apart when it happened. But going through it again to save everyone is still just as shocking because it's the Hollywood leave free or die trying moment everyone wants to simulate. Just, in this case, some of the people are hot alien babes you've most likely boinked.
Number 2.
Star Ocean 4 was such a great game. People panned it for the wooden acting and poor translation issues like most JRPGs, but it was such a great game in the series. And the section on Alternate Earth was by far the best part of the game. You end up in a different dimension on an alternate planet Earth while traveling, and it just so happens this Earth is in the 1950s. Long story short, Raimi gets taken to Area 51 and Edge must break her out, fighting horrible experiments in the US Army along the way. Not only does this section introduce my favorite character in my combat main, Miracle, but it has the most shocking moment in the entire Star Ocean series, which is a big feat. Edge hands over the Calnus' exilithium crystal, and upon an antimatter breakdown caused by the leader, the alternate Earth is annihilated, leaving main character Edge silent for the next chunk of the game, unable to cope with what he'd done.
And number 1.
Kefka succeeds. One of the most monumental moments in video game history. Kefka got what he wanted. Godlike power and world domination. This is the primary reason Kefka is the best villain in the Final Fantasy franchise. He is batshit crazy and actually did what he wanted. Sure, you could argue that half of the plot would fall flat if he didn't, but the point stands. He won. He starved villages, cracked the earth, and more in his godlike state. I mean, Kefka wins. And yes, it was shocking. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Listitis Volume 3. Remember to let me know what your most shocking moments were down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video, or dislike it if you didn't. Either way, you guys are awesome, and I'll catch you in the next episode.